Well, that's annoying as shit. That's annoying as shit. You know, if the resolution wasn't so bad, I'd just go back to streaming on my phone. Because even if I got disconnected, I could just stay on there, wait a little bit to get the connection again, and then sign back on. But this automatically kicks me off. OBS doesn't let me to wait around for the signal. It's like a burp that lasts, I don't know, 12 seconds. And it's just enough that as soon as it gets disconnected, there's like no leeway. It just automatically ends your stream. There's nothing you can do about it, you know? And it hadn't happened in a while, but, you know, sure enough, must be the Taliban at it again. I'm supposed to put the time that it happens again so my agent can contact the people and tell, hey, what the hell is going on, man? We're doing important work here. But unfortunately, there's no way around it. If the internet even glitches a little bit, I'm off. I need to see if maybe there's some other streaming thing I can do that's not OBS because, you know, well, you guys are getting screwed too, you know. You leave and you wonder what the hell happened to me. So, which that reminds me, let's make sure that the computer isn't having a fit. No, it's 100% and the phone's at 100%. Okay, so it's just the internet. This is why I don't do computer things because you know, shit like that happens. Like painting, I'm not gonna like forget painting unless I have a stroke or, you know, have a heart attack or something like that. We should be pretty much good to go. It's only gonna happen once. Oh man. Just what we need, more drama on the weekends. It's not that big a deal. The problem is everybody leaves. We're like, what the hell? I think we got up to like 5 people, and it's like, oh. All right, let's start adding some coloration to this fellow. So let's brighten him up. Just when I was getting ready to make a comment about caffeine pills, I'll wait a little bit to see if Dirk comes back on. Then I'll comment on it. Yeah, I don't drink coffee for the taste. I drink it for the octane. I certainly don't put sugar in it. That makes it tastes too good. Then you drink too much of it. And I like it cold. I don't like anything warm. I don't need anything to warm me up ever. I've even been known to be on the side of a mountain in under freezing temperatures and still had a nice coffee. I don't want warm things. Because the problem with a warm thing is then they make it too warm and you can't even drink it and you burn your tongue and, you know. Now, this is always cold. Soup can be warm. That's about it. I don't know anybody drinking soup to stay awake though. All right, I feel like we need more paint here to, like, quantity. There you go. You're back then. Yes, I never left. The internet is what left. I was just commenting that the OBS doesn't let me stay on. Like, I lost the internet connection for some reason for like 15 seconds. And if I lose it for 1 second, I'm kicked off. And I can't just like wait to restart stream. There's no option to it. You literally have to end it, and then you have to go in and reset everything and come back on. So I may look into doing something other than OBS. I just did OBS because a lot of people were doing it. But when I was streaming directly from my phone, of course it was crappy resolution. Then it wasn't an issue. I just wait around. Sometimes the internet would go out for 3 minutes and I could wait around and continue the stream. And I wouldn't lose the people. But that's not how it is now. So I may have to look and see if this keeps happening. What can I use other than OBS? Well, we've streamed lots of games the other day. I mean, they were horrible quality because of the mobile and that. And I'm used to looking at things in 1080 now also. But I streamed all day and I don't think I lost the connection at all. And if I did, it would have just, waited until it came back on. But you can't do this in this. For whatever reason, OBS doesn't like it. So it's what happens when you use a free program. But I don't care if you have to pay for it. I just don't want something that's you need a degree to figure out. I'm not a let's figure out this program kind of person. I'm like, read a little bit about it and try it, and if it works, I'm good. If it doesn't, I'm going to move on to something else, because that's not what my forte is screwing with different applications. Like I watched a couple of videos how to try to use OBS, and then I think the other day it's like there's a new version. I'm like, oh shit, now it's not going to work. I don't have time for that. I don't want to have time for that. I need to have time for this. I don't need another time-consuming hobby. I'm good. I've got all the time consumption I can handle on this thing. But anyhow, it's really annoying to like, okay, well, cool. Now we got a good feed. Now we got 2 screens. Now we got good resolution. But now we got an internet you can't count on that I don't know if it's less reliable, but it's when it goes down, I get kicked off this thing. So there's nothing I can do at the moment. So just bear with me. If I get kicked off in the next 2 hours, I'll be back on. Just give me about 5 minutes. I'll be back on. But anyways, talking about caffeine pills. Is that anything like Vivarin? I remember in the early 90s, I took Vivarin once. I won't do that again. Because it worked extremely well. And it didn't make me feel weird. But when it was time to go to sleep, all that sleep you missed out on, it caught up with you. So I remember the next day I slept like 18 hours. When it was, I'm like, I don't need to take this stuff again. I guess it made me a little jittery or on edge, maybe. I don't know. I found that out a couple of weekends. Well, I've known about it, but some people when they get drunk they get violent, or when they drink they get violent. Not me. It's a calming thing for me. You give me too much caffeine, and then you give me some bad news, I'm pissed. I'm ready to fight the world without fire support. That's what gets me going, caffeine. Too much of it. But alcohol? No. No, I don't care. And caffeine, I guess I care too much. Oh, man. All right, how are we looking like coloration-wise on this guy? Okay. He could use a little bit more lightening up. Caffeine pills. You must, if you commented about airplane airplane coffee, you must fly a lot. I'm glad I don't. That's a pain. I don't like to fly to begin with. I don't like getting in that steel bird. And now I don't think you can drink. That's a problem for me because I always need some vitamin T or something like that for takeoff. Caffeine pills just stop getting me withdrawal headaches, but I have about 6 coffees a day. Ooh, wow, that's a lot. That's a lot. I used to drink that much. Many years ago. How many years ago would it be? 24 years ago, I quit smoking. And that's what I did to quit smoking is have coffee. I go outside, walk around with a cup of coffee to get desensitized to doing all that. So that's what I was drinking a lot more coffee then. But I have about 1 of these a day, usually this amount, maybe 1.5 of these throughout the day. I've had this one now for 3 days, just taking little sips here and there. Just don't want my stomach to hate me. And I'll be honest with you, it doesn't taste good. It's just liquid motivation, as I like to call it. We did one thing back when I had coffee in the office. We don't have coffee in the office. It's just so bad. You know, we were having, this guy had put, I think, 13 scoops of coffee, and I'm like, I could do 15. And I did that, and I had some coffee, and I was like foretelling the future. My brain was going 1,000,000 miles an hour. I was foretelling the future, and I was right about it. That's how freaking strong that was. I don't need that, you know. But there's a lot worse things you can do than drink coffee. Absolutely. Although it depends what week, because one week you'll see it on the internet. I remember for the longest time you go on the internet and said, this week, chocolate's good for you, coffee bad. And then next week, coffee good for you, chocolate bad. It's like, yeah, I just stopped listening to what I hear on the internet. It's a bunch of lies and manipulations. Yeah, coffee gets things done, man. You go from, I don't know how I'm going to get this done, to, is that all you got? After, a couple cups of coffee. That's good. It's definitely my drug of choice, caffeine. I could do without alcohol or anything else, certainly, but it's really amazing what it really makes your brain work 150%. Pre-COVID, I do about 2 long-haul trips a year. But every trip from New Zealand's a long haul. Yeah, absolutely. But the closest flight you can get is to, Sydney? Something like that. Yeah. Pick this guy up here. Yeah, I really don't like to fly. It's cool, don't get me wrong. And I like looking out the window. There's nothing worse than flying and then you're next to somebody. I like sitting in the aisle because what happens is I end up drinking, like when you go to the movie theater, you have something to drink, you got to go pee, right? Because you're not moving around. So I drink a lot because, I normally drink a lot. And I just mean liquids, just generally. But for a plane, I drink some of the other stuff, sedatives. And that keeps me calm. But Sydney 3 hours flight. It's not too bad. Remember years ago, welcome Ben Waddy. Hey, look, I got the video turned right side up. I finally learned from you. Remember years ago, TV hosts got sick of that stuff and shouted, "What's next? Eating chicken with your eyes open will give you cancer." Yeah, I don't listen. There's too many people pushing an agenda. Whatever happened to just tell me the news, man. Just tell me the news. I'm a big boy. I could figure out. I'm a college gadget. I could figure it out. I don't know if even going to college is that important. You know what's important? Well, what I think is important, having a having I'm going to say a father figure because in my case it's a father, but having a parent that instills in you wanting to learn about stuff. It doesn't matter what it is, but somebody that instills opening the pores of your brain, whether through what they do or whatever. And I definitely got that from my dad. I like to learn. I mean, I'm wargaming, but I'm learning about stuff, and that's the appeal to me. That's why I don't do fantasy gaming stuff. Well, that's one of the reasons I don't do fantasy gaming. But I think that's more important than, is somebody a college educated or whatever. Because in this town, there's a lot of really ignorant people that have PhDs. So, and then there's a lot of people that are, it just, do you want to learn about stuff? And I always have. And wargaming is just my way of participating in history. The way I look at it. That's the only way you can without a time machine. Learn more about these folks, paint them up. How did they get painted? What kind of warfare they have? Who are their leaders? How do they, that kind of stuff. That's a huge part for me. A big, 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 big part. But I don't like flying because of this. I had a couple instances where I was really scared when I was younger from turbulence and stuff. Lightning, turbulence on a plane, no. I don't like takeoff. Landing, I could handle a little bit better. But I don't get airsick. I mean, I don't, throw up and stuff. But yeah, I sometimes lose. I remember there was one flight. The plane was doing one of these and all over the place. I'd sweated so much that my flip flops were squeaking when I got off the plane. But I'm just afraid of the plane, man. I'm not worried about terrorists or or nothing else. And I like looking out the window, but it's like doing drugs. I'm gas. I've never done drugs, so other than caffeine and alcohol, nicotine, way back when. You look out the window and it's like a train set, everything, and I live on Google Earth for what I do for a living anyways. And I love looking at maps and stuff. So, but it's very surreal. Like it's not even happening. And, I think it's very, very weird. It's almost like an outer body experience. And, I find it really disturbing. Like I would feel a lot more comfortable. Of course, you'll never be able to do this again. If I could go up in the cabin where the guy's flying, and if you figure if something's going on like turbulence, and those guys are calm, who are the pros, they don't have anything to worry about. But you don't know what's going. You don't know if they're out there, like white knuckling it, But yeah, I don't like to fly. And now with all the 9/11 shit. Take off your shoes and your belt. It's just inconvenient. I'm one of those people, I don't want to hold up the line, so I'm already taking my stuff off before it's my turn, and it's just a stressful experience. And in about a month and a half, we're supposed to go on a flight out of the country. That's the plan. And I don't know what the alcohol problem is, because I need a couple drinks to stay, I get a couple drinks in me, I don't care. I'm not worried about my going down in flames anymore. It's an easy fix, right? It's all natural. And but I hear what I used to do is I used to smuggle little minis in with me. So I'd buy like a Coke or whatever. I'd buy a Coke Zero or something, and then pour what are those called, 3 ounces of Jack Daniels or something in it. And it kind of sucked because the alcohol warms the drink up. But it's either that or be nervous as shit. So, but I think you can't even do that anymore. So I'm going to have to get drunk ahead of time. And by drunk, I just mean tipsy. I don't mean, make an ass of myself. Which honestly, I behave better with alcohol than without. But I'm not looking forward to figuring out what new hoops I have to jump through for that. But I don't like to fly. It's not my idea of a good time. It's just so freaking surreal. It is so surreal. And takeoffs, man. I can't stand takeoffs. Because landings, you've been in the air for a while, right? So you're used to being in this surreal environment, And it's cool looking out the window. I always try to figure out where I'm at. And one of these days, I need to, hopefully they, I think you can pay for it now, but hopefully they'll have it so you can eventually be on your phone live while it's happening. So you could have Google Earth and look out the window and go, oh, that's what that highway looks like. Oh, that's that field. I would dig that. I mean, I'm all up in that, but anyhow, so we'll see. We'll see what new hurdles I gotta jump through for that. LA is 13 hours. I'm not sure how far LA is from here. Probably 5, I'm guessing. But I've never been to LA. And I don't think I need to go. Just the traffic things alone that I've seen. No, thank you. I don't see how these people can handle being in this insane traffic every day. Yeah, when I was younger, we were flying into Mexico City and it was in a thunderstorm. Yeah, it was bad. It's like this flight we're taking. I'm like, I don't want to go through Mexico City. I don't want to go through trying to go over the currents that go over whatever they call the heat things over the mountains and trying to land it. And I'm not dealing with that kind of crap. A lot of long haul flights have internet. Yeah. Yeah, usually on the long haul, I'm fine. Over water, I'm fine. It's just the damn turbulence going over mountains and thunderstorms and that shit that's flying in the man. Keep that freaking plane steady. I remember I was in a plane one time. I want to say it was when we took off to go to Historicon the first time in 2006 out of Tampa. And that plane, whatever the hell that plane is, I hate. I want to say it's a 727-300. I could be wrong. Anyways, it's a small plane. It's 2 and 2. It may be 2 and 3. I don't know how the hell they do the balancing for that, but it's either 2 and 2 or 2 and 3, the seats. It's got a T-tail. It's got the engines by the tail. They're apparently really nimble. Well, they take off. We're less than 1,000 feet. It seems like we're less than 1,000 feet up, and we do a hard bank to starboard, seems like 45 frickin' degrees. And I'm like, I'm not a physicist, but I'm like, holy shit, our lift just went out the window, And I'm like, I didn't need that stress in my life. I didn't have enough alcohol in me at the time, but I don't like shit like that, man. Keep it steady. I like the big planes. I like the coolest plane I've ever been in was one of those whisper jets. What are those? L-111s or whatever the hell they were. That's a beast. That's like, brrr, and it doesn't move. That's what I like. LA sucks. It's a transit point for getting elsewhere in the U.S. I now avoid the U.S. because TSA are such a pain. So just here, huh? Yeah, they are. You know the easiest thing to get through TSA? Bring figures with you. Because you'll entertain the fuck out of those people. Because they've never seen that. I remember going to Historicon. I was bringing my tray of stuff in there, you know, my baking tray or whatever the hell I was carrying them with. And they're like, oh, are those like Romans? And they weren't. They were like, I don't know, medieval knights or something like that. Yeah, whatever. Just get me through there, pal. You know? You like being entertained by that. But yeah, they feel like you're doing something wrong, you know? And it really bugs me. I got a chip on my shoulder about that because it's like, why are you like stopping me and questioning me? Let's pull our records out and who should be questioning who. The TSA guy is more of a terrorist than I am. I used to think that after all that stuff that happened, that one of those hijacks wouldn't happen again, that people wouldn't just sit idly by. But I don't know. The last stuff I've seen last couple of years, I don't know anybody would stand up for it. I don't know. I'm saying you're not taking over a plane with box cutters that I'm on without me having a say in it. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying I'm going to be successful, but I'm not going to be hiding in my seat when you just have box cutters. But I honestly I don't worry about that. I worry about the steel bird falling out of the sky. But it's cool. I'm not opposed to going on it. It's not like I'm scared enough where I'm not going to fly. But you know, you see things as a kid and they stick with you. That Skyway Bridge here in Florida where it fell down, where that was the one, if you're not familiar with it, a freaking tanker, I don't know how, well, he must have been drunk, hit a pylon on the bridge, and the bridge is, I don't know, 20 miles long, something like that, 25 miles long, knocked off part of the bridge. You know, the bridge is way up high. I mean, I don't want to guess how high it is. 500 feet. It's high. Knocked off part of the bridge. Cars careen and either hit the water or fall onto the ship. But a Greyhound bus knocked. I mean, stuff like that just like freaks me out. I don't like going over bridges. I certainly don't like going over bridges if I'm not driving. I always think that, well, I can at least floor it. I look down and see if something's going on. I can at least floor it or whatever. I've played enough driving games. I can drive my way out of this one. But, you know, we all have our fears. That's why I always, like, laugh at people who are like, you're afraid of a freaking snake? Come on, dude. So we have a neighborhood Facebook page for our neighborhood. And there's this one girl here in this neighborhood that likes snakes. Which, you know, like, people will call her up and say, hey, come to this house and take a snake. Like, that's like her hobby and stuff. Like, I don't dislike him at all, but, you know, you can't call Tony up to go to your house to get rid of a snake. Like, I don't specialize in those services. But anyways, they took a picture of a little snake, and it was cute. It was like this long. And anybody know what kind of snake this was? And this one guy posted a picture of a guy running away. I'm like, it's freaking this long. And it's cute, and it's not inside your house, okay? Because if you get a snake inside your house, you're screwed. You're never going to get the thing out, and it's going to startle the hell out of you. But I don't think it's a gross animal or anything, but, you know, you just scare the crap out of you every time you see them, you know? Marco Mavro, good morning. I just talk about snakes, and the Texas boy shows up. Welcome. But the snake was, like, freaking this long, like, and it's cute. What's scared about that? I mean, you know. I mean, the spooky thing about them is they don't have any feet and they're faster than you'll ever be. You know, just all muscle. But there's a couple I've never seen a poisonous one here on our property. Not that there aren't any, but I don't care. You know, I wouldn't go out and hunt them down. They don't want to have anything to do with you. I have no pets, so, I think they're cool. But yeah, people have a phobia about that. And spiders. Man, you can get away from a spider. They walk slow. Here's the thing. Snake, no legs, fast as hell. Spider, 8 legs, slow as shit. I mean, on what planet does that make any sense? It doesn't make any sense on this planet. You could catch a spider. Now, if there was huge tarantulas here, oh yeah, I wouldn't like spiders. I don't want to walk through like a banana spider web. No. But little ones? Whatever. All have our phobias. Mine's flying. I don't like to fly. I don't like to fly. My anti-phobia is going on a cruise ship, and I always get funny. People get scared of going on a cruise ship, but yet they'd be calm on a flight. I don't know about you. I'm a hell of a lot better swimmer than a flyer. You know what I'm saying? Hey, as much as I'm drinking on a cruise ship, I can't sink. Spiders are our friends. They catch mosquitoes. Absolutely. So do these frogs. So I got this transom window up here. It's dark right now, but there's always these cute little tree frogs up there. I love seeing them. They're out there eating bugs. Every one of them. Ran into a weird person. We're on a kayaking trip here nearby, and the person was telling us, one of our local rivers, so nothing terribly exciting. It's not like we were water rafting or anything like that. And the guide was saying, yeah, you're going to see, one lady was worried about seeing alligators, and I'm like, I don't worry about alligators. I mean, yeah, they're there. They don't want to have anything to do with me. I'm not playing where they are. The one lady was okay with alligators. She just didn't. She was scared of seeing wait for it, any turtles. Like, what's the problem with turtles? Oh, they frighten me. Could you be scared of a slower animal? I don't think so. I mean, that's like the most harmless. I mean, hell, you come up to him and he gets in a shell. I mean, how less aggressive can an animal be, And turtles are freaking cool. Especially sea turtles, man. Nobody dislikes sea turtles, except those assholes that eat them. Not cool. I'm not eating no sea turtle. Woman was afraid of the turtles. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. I mean, I don't want to grab one and poop all over me. Okay, but, short of that. I've stopped and gotten them out of the road. As long as it's safe to do so. You don't want to be that person that gets run over for moving a turtle out of the way. Like, that's stupid, The fact that turtles are cool is the same reason that Ankylosaurus is the best dinosaur. Man, you're my kind of people. I love Ankylosaurus. Where is he? Where's Anky? Let's see if I can find Anky. I don't know that I'm going to be successful with the lighting conditions in here. I'll be right back. So a couple of years ago, I got a wild hair up my ass. That's still a saying. I realize every day there's all kinds of sayings now. I'm not that old. I mean, I guess I'm 50, but man, I don't feel any older than 25. But man, these young punk ass come out with all kinds of sayings that I couldn't believe. But anyways, I got a wild hair up my ass. I wanted to play a dinosaur game where, and actually, somebody actually makes rules for them. But I was prepared to make my own rules. But basically along the terms of, you've got this big field with vegetation, and maybe you're running a Tyrannosaurus, or you're running a herd of whatever, and you're trying to get off the board, or one's trying to hunt, so you've got all these different animals, and some of them are territorial, or some of them want to eat the others, and some just want to get them away and protect their babies, or whatever it is. So I'm like, all right, well, how can I do that? Well, plastic dinosaurs are really, really cheap. So let me paint one up. And I did paint one up. And this is Steggy. This is my Stegosaurus. I don't have a picture right here of what it looked like before, but it was a cheap... This Joker's made in China, isn't he? That son of a bitch. All right, well, this was before the China embargo, the personal China embargo. But this is just a plastic toy that I stripped, and then I primed white, and then I did a series of glazes, I guess is the name for it. But I think it turned out really well. And I'm not giving up on doing this at some later date, but, and they can be close in scale to each other. I guess this would probably be close to maybe 1/48 scale, something like that. Yeah, so anyway, so this is Steggy. I've got an Ankylosaurus that was the next one I was going to paint. I think for $8, I got him, I got an Ankylosaurus, and I got, what was the third one that I got? I don't think it was a Triceratops. It was another herbivore. But anyhow, so, you could see, you're running two females and two babies or something like that, and you have to try to get her off the field or whatever. They painted it up pretty quick, and they're pretty, it was fun. It was fun to do this, especially for something that cost, nothing. Here you can tell what color it was because of the plastic here. But I had put a drill through it just so I could mount it somewhere and grab it. I painted this a couple years, so. But yeah, at some point, I think I'm going to do that because I really like the way the camo thing turned out. So Ankylosaurus, that's definitely my favorite herbivore. So where's this picture? Do I still have it here? So as a kid, I loved dinosaurs before I got into history. I loved dinosaurs. And my favorite, I had this book when I was a kid in the 70s, and I don't remember what book it is. Actually, I did find out what it was. I found there's one particular painting that I liked, and my daughter reproduced it in a card for me. Let me see if I can find it. It's here somewhere, and I'll show you if I can find it here what it is. But there's this one particular painting that I remember as a kid that made me really like this one particular dinosaur because of this one particular drawing. I know that sounds really specific, but I'll just look and see if I can find it here quick. I thought I had it sitting up here on top of this. Maybe I didn't. Maybe I moved it. She made a birthday card or a Christmas card with it on it. It's not here. I know I have it saved somewhere. But it's an Allosaurus. It's an Allosaurus eating its prey. And what I liked about it was the shape that it had and the color it was in, because it was almost like a reddish type color with blue stripes. Of course, who knows, right? But I liked it. And I've got a picture of it somewhere. Of that actual, it took a long time looking for it. It's some old book from like 1969 or 68 or something like that. So, no predators could mess with Ankylosaurus, and it didn't mess with anyone. Awesome stego. That has a great thagomizer. I wouldn't know what that was. I wouldn't know what that word was if I hadn't played that Jurassic Park, whatever, Pokemon type game. I haven't played that in a long time. Go around looking for dinosaurs and shit. That was fun for a little while. Of course, I'm old school. Back when I was into dinosaurs, half of these things didn't exist. Nobody gives a shit about. I would have shit my pants if I was a kid and they had something like the Jurassic Park movies. Oh man, I would have freaking loved that. I would have loved that stuff. Well, we're talking dinosaurs. See, can we put them on the? Can we keep them on the screen somewhere while we paint some stuff up? Yeah, let's put them over. Oh, he's off the screen. Damn it, man. There we go. People chime in and wonder, what the hell is that over there? Oh, it's just Lizzie hanging out here. But yeah, I would have loved those Jurassic Park movies. Absolutely. But raptors? Who gives a shit about raptors, man? They're tiny. They're human-sized. Oh, ooh, that's exciting, Thagomizer is the spiky end of its tail. Right, I wouldn't have known that if I had not played that one game. They named it after a Far Side Gallery cartoon. Great story. Scientists. If any of you guys are scientists, prepare to be offended. I hate scientists sometimes. Example. You're in charge of naming dinosaurs. Kind of a cool fucking job if you ask me, right? I'm creative. Well, we found this new raptor and he's big. Where did you find him? In Utah. Let's call him Utah Raptor. You should be fired, dude. You just failed advertising class. Who the hell comes up with shit like that? That's the part I hate about scientists. Sorry, it's over. But just, if you're, that's a good job, in charge of naming frickin' dinosaurs. Or the people that name frickin' these planets and stuff like that, or they just come up with stupid frickin' names. Utah Raptor. Like when I was a kid, dinosaurs didn't have feathers, so you hate them too. Well, you know what I mean. We don't hate them, but that's just stupid. In charge of naming dinosaurs, awesome, right? Utah Raptor, you freaking amateur. Get the hell out of here. But we didn't have all these millions of freaking dinosaurs around, I mean, Brontosaurus isn't even a thing anymore, right? Because it's supposed to be like part of two different things. I don't know. Velociraptor is the size of a turkey. Yeah, that's who cares about that, Put a Numidian mahout and a couple of pikemen on that, and Amorite is Joe Jam. There you go. They're trying to resurrect Brontosaurus as a genus, which is crap. They're all Apatosaurus. Yeah. I always like Allosaurus. I've got a picture of that somewhere. I have to find that. Anyways, there's one particular drawing that's obviously inaccurate or whatever, but I always like that one because of that particular one. Yeah, I used to know all the dinosaurs. That was before I hit like around 12. It was after 12, it was all like World War II stuff. That was the thing, but so there's a set of rules called Cretaceous. Somebody came up with them. I bought them. You can get them, I think, on Drive-Thru RPG or one of those print and play things. Beautifully illustrated. I don't know if the rules are any good, but I figured that was a starting point for something. Well, I got one dinosaur done and petered out. Oh, you know what I have? I got an Ankylosaurus and then I've got another spiky bastard. I don't remember which one it is right now, because I bought them a long time ago. But, I do want to. It was fun to paint. I mainly wanted. I'm more of a painter than. We even painted his eye up. I'm more of a painter than I am a gamer, in that I'm perfectly happy painting this cheap thing. I'll tell you what was a pain in the ass was stripping the paint. That was a pain in the ass because you have to use something that won't eat the plastic. and it isn't easy. I forgot exactly what I ended up doing, but that was a massive pain in the ass. But sometimes you buy, people think that things are miniatures or whatever you're painting is expensive. They're not. The time you put in them is what's really expensive. That's what really, really is expensive. So, or if you buy something and never do anything with it, like that's expensive. But, God, what is that third dinosaur? I guess I forgot what it was. But, dude, you could spend so much time on eBay surfing for dinosaurs. It's just really freaking cool. I just enjoy, I enjoy surfing. I really do. To give you an example, I went to Orlando last weekend to the outlets. Mainly it was my daughter's shopping trip, and I'm like, I could use a new pair of sneakers. So I ended up going to sneaker store, Adidas store. Figured I've always gotten good deals there, right? I don't need anything specific for running or this, that, and the other. I just wanted something that's light and doesn't look too weird, right? And isn't going to break the bank because, some things are just ridiculously priced, in my opinion. And I couldn't find any good deals there. So I'm like, all right, I really like the pair of sneakers a certain pair of sneakers that I have. And I noticed on the inside of them, there's a code. There's a code of what model number it is. So I'm like, and it tells you like even when they're manufactured. So like the ones I was looking for were manufactured in 2016. And there was the code. So I entered the code on the internet. And of course they don't make those anymore, but they have different variants of it. And then you can shop between eBay or Amazon or any of the other sites and see. I just enjoy looking, and you don't have to buy anything, but just like seeing what's available, what price, who. I just enjoy doing things like that. I think the internet. I've said this about miniatures, but when you didn't have pictures of miniatures, I'd be tempted to order something just to see what it looks like. Now that there is, I can like enjoy. I don't have to order things for the excitement of seeing what it looks like. I can see immediately what they look like. So if my reason for buying something is just the thrill of seeing what they're like, that's kind of gone and saving me a lot of money. But I really enjoy surfing for whatever it is, and as long as it's not something I absolutely need. Like, I don't need another pair of sneakers. I could be fine without one. I've got two. I've got some that, we were doing some walking and my shins were really hurting. It's like, well, you need to get new sneakers. And I'm like, all right, I'll look into it, but I do enjoy surfing a lot, but man, I went to the store. There was like no deals. Like in the last 4 years, the prices have just gotten ridiculous. Like, which doesn't make any sense to me because all you hear about is people don't want to work and this, that, and the other. And I don't know. It's a weird world we live in, but I do like to surf. And I've really gotten used to buying, at least for myself, if I need like clothes or shoes or something like that, I'll go to one of those I'll go to one of those stores where, they have good items that isn't the manufacturer. So, you got a place like Marshall's or something like that. I can't buy stuff that is past a certain price point because it just doesn't seem like I'm making a good deal. Maybe I'm just getting older, or maybe I just realized that, it's not very encouraging for me to buy something full price. I'm not interested in buying $35 pair of shorts. I want them when they're under 15. I'm like, I'm not leaving it on the shelf for that. Now if I need something fancy, like if I got to buy a suit or something, that's different. But if it doesn't really change my life, I'll go into a store and I'll be like, let's see what I'm not going to leave on the shelf for that price. It's fun. It's fun to go out and You know, it's kind of, I call it garage sailing, you know, without going to garage sales. So beautiful 50 millimeter measures from New Zealand on eBay, but for some reason they're outrageously priced. I spend a lot of time on eBay. I only buy nude models. Good morning. Do they still make those? You know what I'm talking about. They used to make them, I don't know what scale they were in, but back in the early 90s, like, they described them, but they couldn't show pictures of them. I'm with you on that. $15 pair of pants sounds... Well, you know, and you don't have to buy crap stuff, but, you know, there's lots of stores that have not hand-me-downs, but stuff that didn't sell. It's out of season. I'm a dude. I don't give a fuck what season it is, okay? Like, we don't care about that stuff, you know? You don't have to buy... You can buy name brand things. I think it's just easier to... Man, I can't decide what I want. Well, how about I get the things that are like really, really cheap that I'm not going to let somebody else get a good deal on? And I don't buy that often, but it's fun going to a store, not needing something and going like, oh, this is a cool shirt for $12. I'll take it. You know? You're helping the store out. They want to get rid of that stuff. But I remember a long time ago, a buddy of mine, back in the late 80s, early 90s, when Tommy Hilfiger was a big thing. I don't know if it still is, but we were in our late teens or whatever. He had bought a $60 shirt from Tommy Hilfiger. And I remember it was red. This is $60, which, you know, was a big deal back then. That'd be like, I don't know, $120 shirt, $110 shirt. I don't know. It was a really expensive shirt, and it ended up bleeding and turned all his socks pink. It was funny, you know. It's like you just... That's what you get for buying a shirt that's too expensive, you know. All right, Steggy, go night-night. We'll put you over here. How about that? We'll put you over here in the Hall of Heroes. We're going to put you in the case there. I'm looking forward to building that today. We'll have plenty of space for you in there. Magellan pants from Academy are tops, and you can get them for $15 off season. You know, we don't have an Academy here in town, damn it. Academy, you can get some good deals on Academy stuff. And Jacksonville, that's only an hour and a half away, has 3 of them, and we can't even get one. You know. Yeah, Academy has good price things. Magellan, I guess, is that their brand? If you like nude armies, how about the Tupi? I don't paint Audis. Oh, Tupi. Holy Yamamano, Batman. I remember my anthropology class. We had to take a class on the Yamamano. And the Yamamano were these... I think they're probably still in the same situation. They're these guys that live in the rainforest between the border of Venezuela and Brazil. And they literally wear no clothes. And they hunt and stuff. And I think they've got a little thing that they tie around their waist that ties their little thing up so they don't, bump into things with it. But yeah, a Tupi, I think, are like that. They're completely naked. Yeah, I don't paint Audis. Oh, man. I think it'd be pretty... Who's the guys that run around naked? Is it the Galatians? That'd be pretty cool to have them. And there's... The Gauls have some guys that painted themselves like blue and stuff and fought naked. Like... It's bad enough for me to imagine people going to battle barefoot, okay? But... with that thing flopping all over the place... No thanks. I mean, you don't even have to go in the battle, man. You trip and skid and do a belly flop. Yeah, no. No thank you. That's just a bad idea on so many levels. Gaisati, is that what it is? Gaisati? I think those are the guys that are in the Gauls that fought naked. Except they had the hair spiked up in blue paint. It's like Blue Man Group meets Burning Man meets Billy Idol. I remember Billy Idol when people thought, man, that guy's crazy dressing like that. Pfft, ain't nothing now. You're like an amateur. There's pro level weirdos now. Now that'd be cool. That'd be cool just because all the yelling you could do before they rolling. It wouldn't matter if you get freaking murdered, but I'm not opposed to painting naked troops as long as that's accurate. I'll paint outies. I don't care. Dude, stab my chest but leave my junk alone. Yeah, that's just too tender. That's too tender. Ooh. Could hurt yourself walking into the kitchen, man. Sharp corners and all that. All right, we gonna lighten this guy up, or is he gonna be a dark one? I'll lighten up a little bit, but I kind of like the color of this guy's skin tone. I like his style. I could paint a lot quicker, but hey, I'm having a good time. We're having some conversation. That's what it's all about. Painting this shit alone is just boring as hell. It really is. I don't, I like to paint. It's relaxing, but man, it's just, I'm inside my head all day, I think this guy's about good there. Let's paint his spear up. Theban Sacred Band. The Zyston, I've got the Theban army. The Zyston figures aren't naked, though. Theban Sacred Band. That is dudes on a date. But I think it was only like 300 guys, right? So that's not even a stand of figures. Museum Z-Range Greeks give you a choice of nude or clothed hoplites. For those of you guys that have bought a lot of Museum Z-Range, do you feel like the figures are accurately represented on the picture online? Because it seems like the picture online they all look like it's the same figure over and over again. And they're kind of more squat than I think they are in person. I think the computer rendering isn't necessarily accurate to the figures. I think that the figures actually look better than the rendering. I haven't been able to compare them side by side. I know that Joe has some of the Sumerian line, but I think they look better in real life than they do on the rendering. I think the rendering makes them look... Sacred Band was the original boy band. Yep. Yeah. Yeah, I got them to do. Yep, I've got them to do. But Greeks are a long ways off because damn Mitch has them all. So, although Thebans would probably be the first ones I'd do. I got to do my Athenians first. I've already started on them, and that's my boys. Those guys are, I think, like 14-2 or something like that already. Without me having the army, so... All right, let's paint his spear, stick, whatever the hell this thing is. Speaking of boy band, I was picking up or doing laundry or something like that a couple of weeks ago. So I decided, well, I want to learn something about Frederick the Great, right? I don't know anything about him. I mean, other than very rudimentary stuff. And mainly because Mitch and Joel were playing that rule set called Maurice that's really for the mid-1700s. And, again, it's all about learning. I don't necessarily going to build any of the armies, but I'm like, all right, let's pretend I was going to, and let me learn something about them. And I watched a couple documentaries about him. He supposedly was a gay dude, which I don't care, doesn't really matter. I didn't know that. I wasn't going to date him. Doesn't matter to me, but I didn't really know anything about him other than the, rudimentary stuff. But, yeah, wargaming is about learning for me. So, the paintboard of your, this paintboard of your mystifies me. I couldn't imagine using it. I don't know what you mean. Oh, I shouldn't have read ahead. Uses the same dolls, details quite shallow. You're right, they look different. The sacred band do each other. This paint. Yeah, I know they're like couples or whatever. But there's only like 200 or 300 or something like that. So what do? I would probably make them the double base unit and just do all 8 of the figures that way. And do some kind of something that ties them all together. Put pink trimming on them. Whatever. I mean, they kicked ass. Who cares if they went on a date or whatever? They kicked ass. Spartans did that too. Who cares? As long as you're not one of the ones getting raped. What does it really matter? It doesn't matter to me. I don't have to watch. Please, don't make me watch. All right. Let's go here. Make sure we got some fresh black. All right, the stick. All right. Yeah, I could be more efficient if I was painting and not filming. But you know what? I wouldn't have been painting this long. I would have already gone off to do something else. So I get more painting done like this. Even if we go off on tangents with dinosaurs and stuff like that, it's all good. It's all entertaining. You guys are entertained. I'm entertained. Everybody wins. It's all good. I am looking forward to getting done with these guys so that I can start working on... when I'm done with these guys, I'll start working on some Gasland stuff as well. We're going to try to find a way to paint Gaslands that doesn't take 22 freaking hours a car. And my way around that is going to be like, I'm going to paint these for other people to use so they can't be to this museum quality. I'm not going to say museum quality because there's stuff in the museum, as you guys know, doesn't look very good. Display case quality stuff. And I do, unlike the people that don't know how to name dinosaurs, I know how to freaking name shit, okay? I should have been in advertising. But people on the Gaslands forums will be like, hey, here's this car. Can you help me name it? Dude, you name the car, you build the car around a name. All right? That's how you do it. So I've got some pretty cool ideas, but, if I don't make it so that I spend like 3 hours on a car. I think I need to cut it down to like 3 hours on a car. And like for instance, we sit down, I already have the thing built, just painting wise. And then we paint one in a session. I think that I need to speed it to that level. And just going to be using more dry brushing and not trying to put every single shadow exactly where I mandate it to be. Then I'll be okay. And I got that idea because I was on the Gaslands forum, the Facebook page, a couple of months ago, and this guy made a post like, hey, check out my vehicles for this demo game that I'm running. And they looked pretty darn good. I mean, I looked at him up close and I saw that what methods he'd used and how long I approximated how long it would take. And I'm like, all right, I could paint him like that. I mean, the problem I have is you get to this point where some people will see these masters that'll paint things and you're like, and they're discouraged. And I'm the opposite. I'm encouraged. I'm like, I can do better. I can do better. I can do better the next time. And I find it very encouraging for myself to push myself to do better. And the problem is doing better means taking longer. And at some point you just need to say, well, this is good enough. And I have a hard time doing that sometimes. And I don't think I do it intentionally. It's kind of unintentionally. And I think that if I was a little bit more like, okay, these are just going to be for other people to use, I can unclench a little bit, so to speak. And I think I need to do that or we're not going to get anything done. Because I think that if you've ever played that game, it's a cool game because of, I don't really like the fluff behind it. I've said it before. You could make your own backstory though. But, and I don't like the team names. We've played a half dozen times and we haven't played with any teams, but I'm going to be making other team names that they could perform exactly the same as the teams are in the game. They just need to be called something different. I just think that they're not up my alley. So I definitely need to move on that. But I'm not going to do that in the middle of this project. So it's still going to be short term. I think that if I just want to do something different, like on Sunday morning, I'm like, I'm going to paint this car and we're going to call him, well, I'm going to use the name I have for one of them, Motormouth. Okay, I'm going to paint Motormouth today. And I just paint him. And the way to get around it is we've played a half dozen times, but the problem with Gaslands is that, at least for us, really only one person reads the rules, and that's not even me. So we show up unprepared, and we kind of build our cars right there, and we all kind of build the same type of vehicle. Like we're paying for 50 points, or I know they call them cans. Anyways, 50 points, 25 points or whatever, 50-point team, 100, whatever it is that we're doing right there. So we're consuming some of the playing time by doing it at that point. And some weapons just aren't getting used. So what I volunteered to do in 2022 is make up many cars, probably 10, 12, that are either in increments of a 30 and a 20 that can go together, or a 50, or a bunch of 25s, or whatever, so we can just say, okay, we're going to play with 50 points, take 2 of these cards, or take 1 of these, or whatever, and you get randomly assigned, they'll be laminated with a picture of the car and everything. I'm looking forward to doing that. So you have the picture of the car that's named with the driver that's also named, okay, and this is what you have to play. So you have to kind of role play a certain vehicle, and it may have a flamethrower that you're not used to using, or an exploding ram or something like that. But that way you get to play the game with different type of things, and it's random who you get to play every time, and kind of create a little backstory for these characters to see what they what happens to them. So I think that's the way forward, and then we'll have better looking vehicles that we can paint or whatever, because the vehicles I've got 1, 2, 3. I got 4 plus 1 I built for my wife, which is not really one for games or whatever, that I'm never going to use them. They're just too nice to use in a game. They just look too nice. I mean, this little hippie van, I've spent probably 35 hours on it. I'm not going to put it out on the field, Okay, let's see what we got. Man, what to do? We'll paint the finger and toenails. He's like that, yeah. Utah car. Cool name. Tony, look up the Far Side Viking Long Car. Looks right up your alley as a Gaslands project. Viking Long Car, okay. Would love to see you make a series or playlist that showcases each of your armies. Oof, you have no idea how long that takes. That takes forever. Close-ups, what brand they are, what you like, dislike about them, stand types, and how the army plays. I'd like to do that too, but that takes a lot of effort. I'll think about it. I think that's some of my best videos. I've done 3 of them. right? I've done the Ottomans, I've done the Ostrogoths, and I've done the Sung Chinese. I do like talking figures, and I feel like I know a lot in that department. So, Utah car. Well played. I don't get it. Okay. Yeah, it takes a long time, man. Each one of those videos was like a 1-day project. I don't feel like I got that many views from it. We'll see. There'll be more. I'm certainly proud of the stuff that I've done, and man, I love talking figures. I really do. I really do. But yeah, like on Sunday, we're going to be painting Motor Mouth or whatever, and I'm going to build it around, a certain look or whatever. So, but I think that's the way forward in playing Gaslands. Because I don't like I don't really like the team names. They're not really. Like, I think they have one performance team. What's it called? One of their teams is like these really fast, like racers or whatever. Is it Mishkin, or Mishkin's the Russians or whatever? Who's the other one? I don't know. They've got some like super fast, like racing performance guys, and I'm like right off the bat, I can already see that team. I'm gonna call that team the Rice Burners. So they all use like Japanese import vehicles, and put like a rising sun on one of them. I mean, I could. It's the main detailing of the most of the color. You could go in and like put individual, like let me show you my hippie van. This is Hippie Kaye, and see if I can get in here close. This thing was a freaking hoot, man. Dusty. The main coloration of the white and stuff, that just takes for freaking ever to do. Okay? It's not unpleasant. It just takes a long time to do. But, painting like the little the little, the writing on it, the writing on it, or the happy flower, that takes no time. So adding those little details isn't a problem. It's just when you're doing the overall coloration, because none of this is done with washes at all. There's not a single wash on here. So I've got to do a faster method of doing it, so we can get a dozen cars and stuff like that on there. So, yeah, this little guy. And the cool thing about it is, I got to stop making them so cool, because there's like drivers in here. There's a guy in here, and he's got a tie-dye bandana. I had to figure out how to do tie-dye. That was fun. But I don't want to seal this thing up, because as soon as I seal it up, you won't be able to see Herb. And then we got the guy that rides in the back. Who's this guy? This is Dirty Dan, the back door man, because he's at the back door. Yeah. And this is a Stan Johansson figure. These are a hoot, but this was probably maybe 40 hours. It was a long time. It was a fun 40 hours. What else we got here? Oh, this was a Punisher car. So we added some miniguns there at the front, and of course the skull system. I'm like, oh, this has got to be Skeletor. So I got a guy, and I painted him in Skeletor type colors. So he got little goggles or whatever. We put the figure in there. We modified him as needed to fit in there. But if you glue the stuff down, you'd never even see the guy. I mean, he's in there. You could just barely make him out. What else we got? We got Leadfoot. I don't want to play with these. They look too nice. They spent too much time on here. See all these extra plating? That's what you keep this stuff for. Cards from hotel cards. Every time you stay at a hotel, save that stuff. I need more coffee. Utah car is a Gaslands version of the Utah Raptor. Oh. I can't think that basically. Utah car. God. Yeah. So this was just, this is probably the quickest one I did to paint. But, you could buy little bolts and put on there, but I could just like drill holes and just pretend they're bolts and say there's like rust coming out of them. Anyhow, but we're going to have these things already pre-built. I have cards for them and all that stuff. Where's the other one? This guy. Yeah, I didn't glue all this stuff down because I want to open them up and show the stuff that's in them. This is Mud Puppy. That's what it is. And it's got a full crew. Plaid. Never painted plaid on a figure. A couple of good old boys. Yeah, I need a redneck team. I need a redneck team. I need some urban gangsters. Yes, there's going to be a tree fitty. There's going to be a tree fitty car, that kind of stuff. There's just a lot of stuff I want to do that we can have a lot of laughs with. That I got to paint a little faster, or we're not going to get there. This is always creative, trying to get these guys in, because the guy's like hanging out of the car. Let's see if I can do this right. Right, we'll mess with this later. There's a way to do that. I don't need more coffee. But I got to paint quicker. So all those dreams can come true. But we got all kinds of stuff. They have the guys that I've recommended before, that Diecast Racing League, the 3D bot maker. They do a series now on demolition derbies, and some of the team names they have, brilliant stuff. So, anyhow, to be continued. But again, I'm a painter, so I want an excuse to paint fun things. But I think I got to dumb them down a little bit, or otherwise I'm not going to get anything done, Oh, the light came out and the froggy left. All right. Got to go. See ya. See ya, Marco. All right, let's get... What color is this guy's pant? Is Battle Sarong. Common equipment. Standard equipment here for the Army. Let's do one that's a little off a little bit. You don't have to do much to these little vehicles. I got this Mustang up here. This is the first one I did. All I did was give this thing a wash, paint the windows, paint the engine, because it was all like chrome and shit, and do a little bit of weathering. And this one didn't take long. Just need to put some guns on it. I mean, this is the original color it came in. This is plenty good to play with. Just needs some kind of a canner on the roof or something like that. So, yeah, this one's not glued down either. I don't know why. There's nothing to see inside of it. But and I also need to make these in a way that I don't have to take them apart, because honestly, that's the most dangerous thing I've ever done with this hobby, is taking these things apart. It is just detrimental to my health. Just having to drill in here and hold it, and hopefully it doesn't slip and take off my finger. Yeah, so, if I don't need to put an interior on it, I don't really need to take all this apart. I could just spray paint it and move on. There's not really anything to see in here. There's no interior to see. So I like these tuned out vehicles. They look cool. They look the part. There's a guy, talking about good painters, there's a guy that painted all his vehicles in the style of the Borderlands video game, and it's freaking awesome. As I love that cartoon style on there. But yeah, to be continued. I'm looking forward to doing that kind of stuff, and that is a cheap hobby, And talk about surfing, looking for miniatures, looking for Hot Wheels cars. They cost 99 cents, and then the shipping's like $4. But that's fine. You can get whatever car you want. Just about. Looking forward to doing that. Looking forward to doing that with you guys for sure. So, because we played 6 games, but we never pre-built the cars. Nobody's ever going to paint them other than me, and so I've never even played with the painted ones. So I don't mind, building some of my guys, and we enjoy, at least our group enjoys randomly getting to play things that you normally wouldn't pick. Like back in the day, we used to play BattleTech a bit. I don't know about a lot, but we used to play it a bit. And one of the things about BattleTech is you'd build, we're going to play with 200 tons, build your mechs up or whatever. And you sometimes just use a crutch. Like in that situation, there was always 2 mechs that I would always build together. And that was a Centurion and an Enforcer. They were each 50 tons, and they would walk side by side and pretty much were in every battle. And it was just my crutch. I would always, for 100 tons, I would always build those 2 guys. So, the game isn't about winning. It's about the crazy shit that happens. And so it's not really important who wins. It's important to see crazy stuff happen. And it's a fine game. It's a fine game from that standpoint. But we're not to the point where we could film games. We've only played 6 times and we get stuff wrong. And, there's issues with the rules, like any game, but it's got a lot of really cool potential. Redneck team. Oh, I want a redneck team. But for starters, it's going to be a what-off. So have a redneck vehicle and have a gangster vehicle and then eventually fill them out. But like I said, I got to be able to paint one in a painting session. That's the time frame that I need. So I could do a couple a week. If I could paint 2 vehicles a week, I'd be happy. In a month, that's 8 vehicles. So looking forward to that. What time is it? 7:30, 7:15, 7:20. She woke up before my alarm. I woke up at like 4:45, so I was able to get on a little earlier than normal. Yeah, but taking those things apart, that's stressful. I mean, if they just had freaking screws or something, but the fact that they're a rivet that you have to drill with something else that's even harder than that rivet to get it out. With your hand that close to those high speeds, that's just really stressful. Yeah, I was really careful and I didn't get hurt, but man, I had to pay too much attention to that, to doing that. All right, is White dead? Yeah, White's always dead. White's the first one to die. All right, let's do the beard on this guy, and he's done. We can move on to the next one. It looks like my headache's gone. That's the important. Well, I didn't have one this morning, but that's the main thing. Can't think with a headache. Headache makes the most rudimentary, easy thing so difficult. I'm not a fan. once the girls wake up, we'll start working on our display case, put that thing up, and see where it's going to go. The guy with a floating beard. That's a legitimate look these days. I know several people with those. What I've only seen one person with was floating sideburns. This guy literally he shaved his head, and he had no beard, and he just had sideburns that ran from, like, even with his ear. That's it. That's where he had hair. And I'm like, okay, if you're going to invent a look, that's not the one I would have invented, but hey, it's your face, pal. Floating sideburns. All right. You got 2 guys done. So let's paint the 3rd guy. It's the same figure. I need to go get some water. I think I have water floating around here somewhere. I'll be right back. All right, next guy. Let's mix up his flesh tone. Let's see if we can get through the flesh tone phase a little faster. You got some cool guys in here. I mean, they're just rudimentary dudes, but you know, we got like one guy that's kind of got a guy with a sword, got a headband. He's working for the weekend. Got a leader guy here. Looks like he's got some kind of a bronze helmet. Got only one of each of those. Well, we got some variety. Good old Essex. I'm not a fan of Essex from the standpoint of army packs, but if I get to pick the figures in the army, they paint up really well. They actually have decent faces. I just don't want somebody to give me a whole bunch of the same pose when, you know, it's a troop type that I may not want everybody in the same pose. All right, let's mix us a black and some of the